In 2023, Turkey celebrated its centennial, a modern nation forged from the ashes of the Ottoman Empire. To understand Turkey today, we must look back at the empire it replaced. The Ottoman Empire, for 6 centuries, shaped 3 continents with conquest, faith, and innovation. Its legacy endures in the cities, languages, and cultures of the Middle East, Balkans, and North Africa. The transition from empire to republic was profound and often painful. The Ottoman Sultanate ended in 1922, closing a 600-year dynasty. Mustafa Kemal Ataturk envisioned a secular, Western-facing republic built on Turkish national identity. The rise and fall of the Ottomans is a story of ambition, transformation, and the relentless march of history. Let's begin our journey before the Ottomans were an empire, when they were simply a people searching for a home. Our story begins on the vast, windswept grasslands of Central Asia, a region stretching as far as the eye can see. Here the Turkic peoples thrived for centuries, nomadic, fiercely independent, and renowned as master horsemen and skilled archers. Life on the steppes was harsh, demanding resilience and adaptability, but it also fostered a unique culture built around mobility, kinship, and the bond between rider and horse. These tribes, united by a common language and shared traditions, were constantly on the move. Driven by the search for new pastures and opportunities, they migrated across continents, conquering and assimilating, and in the process, shaping the destinies of civilizations from the borders of China to the heartlands of Persia. Their journeys also connected them to the legendary Silk Road, where they traded goods, ideas, and beliefs with distant cultures. In the 10th and 11th centuries, one Turkic group rose to prominence, the Seljuks. These formidable warriors embraced Islam and forged a powerful empire that stretched across Persia and Mesopotamia. Under their rule, the region flourished, blending Turkic traditions with Islamic art, architecture, and scholarship, leaving a lasting legacy on the lands they governed. As their power grew, the Seljuks set their sights on Anatolia, a land that was then the heart of the mighty Byzantine Empire. The fertile plains and strategic cities of Anatolia beckoned as the next frontier for expansion. The pivotal Battle of Manzikert in 1071 would change history forever. In a dramatic clash, Seljuk forces shattered the Byzantine defenses, opening the gates of Anatolia to waves of Turkic migration and settlement. In the aftermath, the once unified Byzantine control fractured. Anatolia splintered into a patchwork of Turkish principalities, known as beyliks, each ruled by ambitious warlords vying for power and territory. Among these many beyliks, one small principality on the Byzantine frontier would soon distinguish itself from the rest, destined for greatness. This was a land of warriors and faith where the Islamic duty of Gaza, holy war, shaped daily life and inspired generations of fighters, known as Ghazis, to seek glory and conquest in the name of their beliefs. From this crucible of conflict and ambition, a new power would rise. The Ottoman Empire, named for its legendary founder Osman, began as a humble frontier beylik but would soon become a force to be reckoned with. Osman's vision and leadership laid the foundation for a dynasty and an empire that would endure for 6 centuries, shaping the course of history across 3 continents. In the late 13th century, Osman became chief of his tribe in Bithynia, seizing opportunity as Byzantium and the Seljuks weakened. Osman expanded into Byzantine lands, inspired by a legendary dream foretelling his dynasty's greatness. This myth fueled Ottoman ambition for generations. After Osman's death, his son Orhan captured Bursa in 1326, making it the first Ottoman capital. Orhan built the first Ottoman army, currency, and government institutions. The Ottomans advanced into Europe, crossing the Dardanelles in the 1350s. Their frontier location attracted warriors, and their pragmatic rule allowed religious tolerance in exchange for taxes. They blended Turkic, Persian, and Byzantine traditions, creating a unique system of governance. Military zeal, political pragmatism, and administrative skill transformed a small beylik into a rising empire. For centuries, Constantinople was the ultimate prize, a fortress city and a symbol of Christian power, wealth, and culture. Its massive walls and strategic location made it nearly impregnable, standing as a beacon of the Byzantine Empire and a bridge between Europe and Asia. The city's golden domes and bustling markets were legendary, drawing traders, pilgrims, and conquerors alike. By the mid-15th century, however, the once mighty Byzantine Empire had shrunk to little more than the city itself. Surrounded on all sides by Ottoman territory, Constantinople was isolated and vulnerable, its population dwindling and its resources stretched thin. The city's glory days seemed a distant memory, and its fate hung in the balance. In 1451, a new and ambitious leader emerged. Mehmed II, just 21 years old, ascended the Ottoman throne. Driven by a vision of greatness and determined to fulfill a centuries-old dream, he set his sights on conquering Constantinople, the last bastion of the Byzantines. Mehmed assembled a massive army, gathering tens of thousands of soldiers from across his empire. He also commissioned the construction of enormous bronze cannons, some of the largest the world had ever seen, designed specifically to shatter the city's legendary walls and break its defenses once and for all. The siege began in April 1453. For 53 days the city endured relentless bombardment with thunderous cannon fire echoing day and night. The defenders fought bravely, but the walls began to crumble and hope faded with each passing day. On May 29th, Mehmed's forces finally breached the walls. Chaos erupted as Ottoman troops poured into the city, overwhelming the exhausted defenders. The fall of Constantinople marked the end of the Byzantine Empire, a civilization that had lasted over 1,000 years. Mehmed entered the city as a triumphant conqueror. He immediately converted the Hagia Sophia, the Grand Cathedral, into a mosque, signaling a new era. He declared Istanbul the capital of his empire, determined to restore its former glory and make it the heart of a new civilization. News of the conquest sent shockwaves through Europe and the Islamic world. Christian kingdoms mourned the loss of the great city while the Ottomans celebrated their victory. The balance of power had shifted dramatically. The fall of Constantinople marked the end of the Middle Ages and the dawn of a new era. The Ottomans emerged as a dominant world power, shaping the course of history for centuries to come. Istanbul became the vibrant heart of a vast empire, a city where East met West, and cultures, ideas, and peoples converged. Its markets bustled with goods from across the world, and its skyline reflected both ancient and new. The Ottomans now stood as heirs to Rome, blending their own traditions with the legacy of the ancient world, and forging a new chapter in the story of civilization. The fall of Constantinople ushered in the Ottoman Golden Age. Sultans like Selim the Grim expanded the empire, conquering Egypt, Syria, and the holy cities of Mecca and Medina. Under Suleiman the Magnificent, the empire reached its peak, militarily, politically, and culturally. Suleiman led campaigns deep into Europe, capturing Belgrade and defeating Hungary at Mohacs. The Ottoman navy, led by Barbarossa, dominated the Mediterranean. The empire stretched from Vienna to Yemen, Algeria to Persia, a true superpower. Suleiman reformed the legal system, creating stability and order. Ottoman culture flourished. Sinan's architecture, poetry, calligraphy, and textiles reached new heights. For a brief era, the Ottomans were the most powerful and vibrant state on earth. Their legacy would echo for centuries. The Ottomans ruled a vast and remarkably diverse empire, stretching across 3 continents, through a highly centralized administration and a formidable, well-organized military. Their ability to govern such a wide array of peoples and cultures was a testament to their sophisticated statecraft and adaptability. At the top of this system stood the Sultan, the supreme ruler, who was aided by the powerful Grand Vizier and the Imperial Council. Together, they made crucial decisions and set policies for the empire. The Sultan's authority extended to every corner of the realm, but he relied on appointed pashas to govern the provinces, collect taxes, and maintain order, ensuring the empire's vast territories remained under control. The Ottomans also implemented the millet system, which granted religious communities a degree of autonomy to govern their own affairs. This innovative approach allowed Christians, Jews, and Muslims to coexist peacefully, reducing internal conflict and fostering long-term stability within the empire's borders. At the heart of the Ottoman military machine were the Janissaries, elite infantry units created through the Devşirme, or child levy, which recruited boys from Christian villages in the Balkans and Anatolia. These boys were taken from their families, converted to Islam, and subjected to rigorous training. Over time, they became fiercely loyal soldiers, forming the Sultan's personal army and serving as his most trusted protectors. The Janissaries' strict discipline, advanced training, and innovative tactics gave the Ottomans a decisive edge in warfare, allowing them to expand their empire and defend it against powerful enemies. However, as the centuries passed, the Janissaries' influence grew beyond the battlefield. They began to interfere in politics, using their power to sway decisions and even challenge the authority of the Sultan. The once elite core became a source of instability, resisting much-needed reforms and undermining the very state they had helped build. Their revolts and demands often paralyzed the government, making effective rule increasingly difficult. Ironically, the very institutions that had built the empire's strength, its centralized administration and the Janissaries, would later contribute to its decline, as internal divisions and resistance to change weakened the state from within. In the end, Ottoman strength and weakness were two sides of the same coin, forever intertwined in the empire's remarkable yet turbulent history. No empire lasts forever. The Ottoman decline was gradual, beginning even as the empire seemed invincible. After Suleiman, weaker sultans and palace intrigue eroded leadership. Power shifted to officials and the Janissaries, breeding corruption. Europe advanced rapidly, militarily and economically, while the Ottomans lagged behind. The defeat at Lepanto shattered Ottoman naval supremacy. Prolonged wars drained resources, and new trade routes bypassed Ottoman lands, crippling the economy. Inflation from New World silver destabilized finances. The Janissaries lost discipline, became hereditary, and resisted change. The military, once a source of strength, became a conservative force blocking reform. The empire's inability to adapt sealed its slow decline. By the 19th century, the Ottoman Empire was the sick man of Europe. European powers debated how to manage its collapse, while Russia, Britain, and France vied for influence. Nationalism, inspired by the French Revolution, swept through the empire's diverse peoples. The Greek War of Independence in 1821 sparked a wave of nationalist revolts. Serbia, Romania, Bulgaria, and others gained autonomy or independence. The Tanzimat reforms aimed to modernize and unify the empire, but came too late. Ottomanism failed to unite subjects. Christians sought independence, Muslims felt betrayed. The empire lost Egypt, Tunisia, and its Balkan territories. By World War I, only Anatolia and parts of the Arab Middle East remained. The once mighty empire was on life support. In 1914, the Ottomans joined World War I on the side of Germany and Austria, Hungary hoping to regain lost power. The war proved disastrous: multiple fronts, economic collapse, and social upheaval. Amid the chaos, the Armenian genocide unfolded. Hundreds of thousands perished in forced deportations and massacres. By 1918, the empire was defeated and occupied. Its Arab provinces were divided by Britain and France. The Allies planned to partition Anatolia itself. The 600-year-old empire was finished. But from the ruins, a new movement emerged. Mustafa Kemal, hero of Gallipoli, led a nationalist resistance. The Turkish War of Independence gave birth to the Republic of Turkey. The Ottoman story ended, but a new nation began.